Technology is rapidly advancing these days. It is just absolutely just mind-boggling if you would have told me years ago when I watched Back to the Future Part 2 that there would be video conferencing calls. And I thought in my brain back then, how is that even possible? There's no way. You fast forward some time later here, and now that's a reality. And another reality was when I got to a Vid Summit conference out in LA a couple years ago. I met a programmer. He was working on artificial intelligence voice technology to narrate audiobooks. Like his whole soul idea was, I want to create something that people who can't afford voiceover talent or professional narrators could come over and use this for themselves. And he swore up and down, it sounds absolutely flawless. It sounds seamless to what you would expect from a human. Now, I never got to really test that or hear what he had, but he seemed pretty ambitious about this idea. If you follow Joanna Penn or Michael Laron of Author Level Up, they have spoken extensively about the rise of artificial intelligence and the future of it. So for this podcast episode, we're going to discuss how artificial intelligence can write blog posts, ad copy, and beyond. Make sure you stay tuned. What's happening? It's Dale here, and this is episode 136. I'm just tickled to death. You took a little bit of time out your day to spend a little bit of time with me. And wow, can you believe it's already been over 2 years we've been doing this podcast? Pretty nuts. Just a quick plug here, folks. Regardless of when you're listening to this, you know what would be an awesome gift for yourself or a loved one that's getting into the self-publishing business? Glad you asked. You can pick up the 6-time award-winning Amazon self-publisher book. Go visit dalelinks.com/selfpubbook and find out why this has become a 6-time award-winning book. Thank you so much. I appreciate it if you share that with somebody else. Now, just a quick disclaimer. I'm going to mention a couple of affiliates, and there's quite a bit of times. If you ever hear me say dalelinks.com in some capacity, that probably goes through an affiliate link. But I think it's important that I definitely tell you that there's an affiliate relationship involved with a couple of these artificial intelligence companies. So that means if you go and buy their product or service, then I get a small kickback. It doesn't affect your purchase price. It just greatly helps me out. Now, I'm not going to endorse all of these for good reason because I don't feel comfortable about a couple of them. So what I want you to kind of remember when it comes to products and services is it's all about time versus money. Do you have a lot of time? If so, do it yourself. Do you have a bit of money? Well, you might want to hire out or maybe consider artificial intelligence for certain things that you really don't have to sweat. So what my plan is, all right, you see a title for a podcast that says, I had artificial intelligence write my ad copy, but the truth is, this is just the starting point, and I want to kind of do a bit of a case study around this, and I'll explain this a little further into the podcast. But what I would really like to see is I want to create ad copy in a few clicks. Because I am absolutely the worst when it comes to copywriting. I could swear my copy is just perfect and I put it up and it flops. But then I hire somebody like Brian Meeks to do my book description and all of a sudden, boom, we're selling. What? I just don't have the patience to sit down and learn copywriting, to be honest with you. So I'd almost rather just reach out to somebody. Also, it would be nice if artificial intelligence could help me out with any kind of outlining for future videos and blog post projects or podcast episodes. Just simple outlines. Like I don't need to have the full thing written for me sometimes. Every now and then, I just need those slight writing prompts, if you will. Maybe if it could do book descriptions, I'd be all in. But I'm real hard pressed because I found in some instances, and you'll see here pretty soon, that the book descriptions that I get back were meh. It misses that human touch. And to me, I think that that's what we really need to see is human touch in some of these areas of artificial intelligence. Now, possibly I'll be using this artificial intelligence to produce full blog posts. Now, hear me out before you go lynch me here, because I know there's a lot of you old school authors out there that are like, how dare you? What are you doing? Don't get a robot to write things for you. Yeah, I know. I'm still hesitant because, well, it's a computer writing my content. I mean, is there any real soul to what that's being put into that? Or can people still read this and understand the context of it? So even though I'm a little bit of an old school person here on this one, nonetheless, I'll dabble with it. I'll let you know. But for the sake of today's conversation, I'm probably going to focus more just on the ad copy, the copywriting you have to do for you promoting your book. So for me to get behind any software, this is what I need to know. A few things. Number one, is it plagiarism free? Because I'm not spending money on software that's just going to go and scrape something from somebody's website, hand it off to me and say, that's good. Let's go ahead, move on. No. And I don't want spinning software. Now, if you're not familiar with what spinning software is, spinning will take content and it'll kind of reword everything. So it's the same thing that's being communicated to a certain extent as the original. So essentially, anytime that you're using spinning software, the idea is you use that on your own content. So for instance, I could probably take my blog post, drop it into a spinning software, and then take that same blog post and post it on Medium. Because the thing is when you take the same content and you publish it all over online, what ends up happening is it waters that down. So, but not a fan of spinning software because 9 times out of 10, anytime something came back, I was like, yeah, no. And not to mention, most of the time that people were using spinning software was to just literally steal someone's IP. Yeah, you're not plagiarizing the person's stuff word for word, but you're taking their ideas, thoughts, and concepts in the general outline. So I wouldn't recommend you ever do that. Number 2, software needs to be plug and play. Look, I ain't the smartest man in the room. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna even make any kind of exaggerations at this point. But it needs to be simple. Do I need to watch a ton of videos just to figure out your software? Because if I do, I'm not so sure about that. If you've got this entire backlog of videos and I've got to watch the whole thing just so I can figure out one little concept in there, or is it intuitive? Can I just get in there, not have to watch a single video, play around with it, and get some great results? Because to me, that right there, that's what I want. Because this is supposed to save me time. I don't want to sit here and play around with this and try to figure out this tool if all I have to do is click this button, and go. Number 3, I want to make sure it just doesn't create more work for me. That's the thing. It needs to shorten some of my time. I can sit and do some copywriting. It's not the worst. Sure, I probably exaggerate when I say, it's the worst. I'm not great at copywriting, but I do passable copywriting. Decent enough. It's grammar and error free. So, I mean, we've got that going for me, but it needs to shorten the time I spend on one task so I can focus on other areas. That's the whole point of getting some software, is so that way it shortens the amount of time that you're spending on a specific area. The big benefit is saving time and money. So if you can save me time and money, I'm all for it. If I could do something else instead of writing ad copy, then great. Not a fan of it. If I have to do it, great. But I want to make sure it saves me time and I'm not getting more work. Realistically, I know this is new technology. It's not going to be error-free. It's not going to be perfect. Realistically, you're going to have to do some mild editing. It needs the human touch because computers and algorithms and all that type of stuff doesn't know how to speak like what we do right now. So you got to kind of go in there and tweak some of those things. So with that groundwork laid out here, I tried out 3 different services. I tried 1, Jarvis, 2, outranking.io, and 3, copy.ai. Let me share my experiences with the first 2 of Jarvis and outranking.io. Jarvis had a lot of features. In fact, a dizzying amount of features. Some of them, like, I wouldn't even never use them. I'm like, what is this? I don't know what that means. Like, what? Don't give me acronyms and stuff. Like, what is this? Like, I should be able to click and understand what's going on. So the features were kind of nice, but a little dizzying. It came with a 14-day free trial. I ended up keeping it, I would say, for about 3 months before I was like, because again, I was overwhelmed. And every time I'd watch a video, they would show me a new feature that I really didn't need, but I get excited about it, but I forget about the original feature. And then I'm kind of stuck back at square one. And then they started really advancing their options and they changed their pricing model. And so right now they run about $29 per month. And that's for 20,000 words of content per month. Now you're saying, wait, what? Yeah, you're limited to the amount of words. Let that sit in for a second. You're paying $30 per month for about 20,000 words, essentially. Not bad, but again, it's not perfect. So what if 10,000 of those words are absolutely useless? You've just paid for that. And I want to get it to where, you understand that Jarvis wasn't terrible. It just was overwhelming to me. I used to have everything available for them with no word limit. Now it's like, no, there's a word limit. You pay $29 per month at that one specific level, and then you pay $59 per month for 50,000 words per month. And I was like, I don't like to sit here and figure out like how much data is left on my phone plan so I can't watch any more videos when I'm out and about. Like, this is just as annoying. I shouldn't have to sit here and worry about, well, how many words do I have left for the month? Well, I'm going to have to probably upgrade in some capacity. Just give me unlimited. So the next one was Outranking. They had reached out to me and they actually gave me some complimentary access. So big shout out to Outranking for helping out on this. They are strictly copywriting in certain aspects. And most importantly, their biggest feature is search engine optimization. Like, they're really big about SEO and and SERPs, which is SERP, that is. It's not real robust. I got used to Jarvis and I went over to Outranking. They keep it very simple. So it's super, super easy. Now they run for about $39 per month and it's based on credits every month. I got to admit to you, I'm kind of confused about it. I don't know. And I probably should reach out to the company since they were nice enough to give me complimentary access to try it out. Why didn't I stay with either of those two companies? Jarvis was just too pricey. Just too pricey. And the limitations that were starting to roll out and too many features, I was like, I just don't have enough time. I don't want to sit here and try to learn something. I want to have it very simple that I click, go, boom. Their user interface might work for other people. It just didn't work for me. So this is not me to say, you shouldn't check out Jarvis. Go check it out. Give it a shot. I mean, they got like a free trial or whatever. Outranking, to me, there was not enough features readily available. Some things that I just simply wanted, like writing a short headline or writing just a brief description. Instead, it was like long form type stuff. And it was all getting it ready for like blogs and websites. And so I was like, that's not quite what I was looking for. So my experience with Copy.ai, this is where I'm going to transition over to where I really like them. They're plug and play, just super simple. Tons of features. And they're sorted out into different buckets. And so you think of it kind of like Amazon browse paths, where you will click a category and it'll drop down. It'll have a subcategory. And then you click one of the subcategories and it has another subcategory and breaks out. So it works kind of like that over in Copy.ai's dashboard. So my mind goes, okay, what do I need to do? Okay, I need to create a headline. Boom. The headline's immediately available. I can get it done. If I want to make copywriting, which I'm going to share just a couple of examples here that I'm going to be using, we're going to see how those work out. But tons of these features sorted into different buckets. Now, the cost is $35 per month. It's about $420 per year. Not bad. You get unlimited credits, unlimited projects, over 25 languages, over 90 copywriting tools. Now, Jarvis is probably the closest that comes to that. Outranking.io, again, they're very niche. They're very focused on what they do. So it doesn't quite have the robust features as, say, what Copy.ai and Jarvis do. Not to say that they won't eventually have that. And there's other features. I'm just going to, not get into those. So where do I want to use it first? I want to focus on ads. I would love to see about using it for like blogs eventually, or maybe like outlines for my videos. But for right now, I want to see how well it works for ads, because if it can save me some time, to where I got to do is just go into Copy.ai, type in my product, type in a brief description of it, and just hit a button and let it go, then great. Now, Amazon Ads has customized text that you can put in there. Now you can have up to 150 characters. Doesn't seem like much. You're probably saying, Dale, I can bang that out really fast. But when you're dealing with me, I am very indecisive. I find myself constantly questioning myself because I'm not a copywriter. And yeah, I can get better at it with practice. But in the same instance, that 150 characters sometimes can take me a half hour to 45 minutes just to figure something out. And even then I'll start to question myself. So what I did was I used a feature called the ad copy variant. I submitted my product name. I described my product. I chose a tone, which they have 12 different templates for all the tones, like professional or friendly or witty. You can add your own tone to my understanding, and their algorithm kind of figures that out. All you got to do is hit create copy when it's all done. And it spits out 14 different variations of some ad copy. For this particular one, I think it did upwards of about 250 to 300 words. There was no way for me to control the word limit. I really wish I could have moved it back to 150 so that way their software would be able to pick that up. So maybe Copy will see this at some point, or hear this podcast and go, ooh, we should probably add that in there. So when they spit out the 14 variations, it varies anywhere from like say 150 words to as much as 300 words. Not bad. It's just trying to figure out what works best. So my knee-jerk reaction was not all of them were winners. I wouldn't use most of them the way they are because they're too long. I need to see about breaking them down. And I found that sometimes there's a little bit of wordiness. Like it needs to be a little bit more brief about how it communicates, because that's the thing when it comes with copywriting. Punchy, quick, to the point, because that's really what sells these days. If you try to put in this one gigantic 150 word paragraph, a lot of people are going to tune that out. So you have to use the punctuation as a way to come to a full stop while not fatiguing your reader, getting it to where they are interested in your specific ad. Most of the examples had something I could work with. So it had a good lump of clay, and I could kind of go in there and go, ooh, I see what it's going for. And I can just adjust a few things. And I'm feeling a little less overwhelmed than say if I were to try to do it myself, because then I just stare at the blank screen. Here's the nice thing though. Under each one of the different variations, they have something that either you can reject it, you can copy it, which you would, copy and use it somewhere else, or you can select more like this. So if you see a specific ad copy that you like, then what you would do is you would click that and it would spit out different variations of that. So that way it's kind of getting to know what it is that you're looking for. And this is why I think having no limits on the amount of words per month is going to be beneficial, because you go to some other platform that limits your amount of words. Well, what happens if all the computer keeps spitting out to me are just a bunch of just drivel, a bunch of just, babble and such. And, it's not that terrible, but there's some times where I've read it and I go, ooh, I wouldn't say that. Like, yeah, there's some instances. So anyway, here's my example. The book I'm going to be advertising is Amazon Keywords for Books. The description that I provided them was this 5-time award-winning book written by Dale L. Roberts. Readers learn how to leverage, I don't know how to write ad copy, so I didn't even proofread this. Learn how to leverage the power of the Amazon search engine algorithm. Discover how keywords can make or break the success of your book published on Amazon. I selected professional tone. I didn't want to go for anything funny or anything crazy like that. So they spit out 14 different ones. I just skimmed through really fast, and I got some of them that I felt like were probably the strongest examples. So keeping in mind that I'm probably going to have to go through and just edit some of these down because they are a little longer. But the first description was, this book written by Dale L. Roberts reveals the secrets of leveraging the Amazon search engine algorithm. He shows how to maximize your ebook sales from Amazon. Discover how keywords can make or break the success of your book published on Amazon. Boom. Like it. Written by Dale L. Roberts, this 5-time award-winning book will show you how to leverage the power of the Amazon search engine algorithm. With key insights from Amazon's A9 search team, it's now A10 by the way, you will learn how to optimize titles, subtitles, and keywords for maximum visibility, reach, and sales. And then the third ad copy was, Amazon Keywords for Books is a guide for authors and self-publishers to learn how to optimize their book title search rankings on Amazon. Like it. So I'm going to test those out. What I will have is a controlled group. I'm going to do about 3 ads that are just auto-generated. So in other words, we should say the standard ad. So there's not going to be a customized text. We're just going to leave it as is. The next one, I'm going to do my own ad copy. So I'm going to take a stab at it without using Copy.ai. I'm going to try to painstakingly put out 3 different types of ad copy. And I'll share that in, at the end of the case study. And then I'm going to do 3 of them with the Copy.ai. And I want to see which ones convert the best. And I'm going to try to keep the groups as controlled as possible, using the same type of keywords, using the same type of targeting. So that way we have some good results at the very end of this case study. You want to make sure you stay tuned to this podcast, of course, if you want to learn more about that. Folks, do me a huge favor. I'm just going to go ahead and do a shameless self-plug here. 6-time award-winning book, The Amazon Self-Publisher, is still selling like crazy. 'Tis the season to buy somebody. You know what? It doesn't even have to be the season. It's year-round. Because if someone wants to get into self-publishing, especially on Amazon, they're going to want the Amazon Self-Publisher. Visit dalelinks.com/selfpubbook to get your copy today. You can gift it over to somebody as well. Final thoughts. Is artificial intelligence ready to step up into the forefront of writing and publishing? I think so. I think the time is starting to come. And I think the more that people embrace this and give feedback to the creators of software like this, the more that it will become refined. I think it's inevitable. There are going to be some people that are going to become successful by publishing books that was created entirely from artificial intelligence. Now, I don't know where you stand on that when it comes to having something written for you, whether through ghostwriting or through artificial intelligence. That's probably another argument for another day. But to me, I think that we're definitely on the edge of something big. And if you can kind of figure out a way that artificial intelligence can help you build your business as an author and as a self-publisher, then all the better. Subscribe or follow me on your preferred podcasting platform, and do me a favor, leave a review. It's much, much appreciated. I do love it. Next episode is going to be, I used 4 apps to grammar check my book. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a small study here with 4 different grammar checking apps. We're going to see how many mistakes each one of them pick out and how reliable was it for those specific mistakes, or was it just pulling out some stuff that really made no difference? I'm going to be taking a small break until January 3rd of 2022, folks. And for those of you that listen on the audio podcast, that'll be January the 10th that I'll be making my return. To get advanced access to all podcasts, make sure that you visit and subscribe to me over on the YouTube channel, dalelinks.com/YouTube.